Mrs. Claus is tired, okay? Don't let Santa fool you. I've been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, okay? Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Britney Lynn, and I'm going to be doing this holiday Mrs. Claus fantasy tutorial for you today. It's most likely going to be a voiceover, and I will list the products that I use below. And I'm using different foundations, trying to figure out which one works the best for me. And just a special note, December 25th is actually my birthday, but it actually is my birthday. So as a lovely birthday present, I would absolutely adore if you would subscribe to my channel and tell a few people. Say, hey, there's some bitch that for no reason got up in a Christmas drag. That would be lovely. Girl, let's just hope 2021 is like, even if it's just like this much better, I'll take it. So if you want to see how I did this, please keep on watching. Okay, so I'm back. My brows are covered. I lightly powdered them. And now I'm starting with my MAC Full Coverage Foundation, and this is in NC20. It's not really the right color that I want. It's a little yellow for me. So I do color correct in a little bit. But I'm just starting, it's like my mid-tone. So I always do a light, a medium, and a dark. So this is the mid-tone. And I'm just applying that everywhere that I'm going to need that. And then I will start applying some highlighter, which is what's happening here. So this is the MAC Full Coverage in the white. Sometimes I used to use the Mayron white, and sometimes I will use this. It just kind of depends on my mood. The MAC Full Coverage is definitely thicker, and I ran out of my Mayron foundation. I used to use Fair Female, and I am so upset about it because it was like a little more of a pinker tone, which went better with my skin. Like this, once it's all on, just looks too yellow. More so in person, but it's just a little too yellow for me. So I actually stuck a foundation brush into like the last stick of it, of the Mayron that I had, and color corrected a little bit just to add a little. It's here. It doesn't look like it makes much of a difference, but in person, it made a huge difference. And then we're just blending that out. This is a damp beauty blender. And the MAC Full Coverage is so thick. I had it on the back of my hand, both of those colors, because it just, the heat of my body was warming it up. We'll Fix Plus, dampen that sponge again. And I did that because without doing that, it's so thick, it's like, doesn't want to spread as nicely onto the face. When I did prime, I used the e.l.f. Hydrating Primer and a little bit of the Benefit Pore-fessional. Okay, so this is the contour. And for contour, I mix a Kryolan Stick F11 and I mix Mayron Contour 2 together. And it looks really super brown for me, and kind of dark, but it doesn't stay that way. It blends out really nicely. The Contour 2 is really very dark, but it blends really, really, really well. Like, you'll see. So we're doing the cheeks, we're doing the forehead, we're doing the jaw, and I like to kind of bevel the chin a little bit as well. My big fear about the jaw contour is always that you need enough, definitely, especially in the double chin area, but you don't want to look like you have a chin strap. So you don't want to look like you've shaved your beard and you're not having that. You don't want to have to paint one on, basically. So then I'm contouring the nose with the mid-tone. I don't use the darkest color on the nose. I just think that that's too severe. And then this is a little bit of the contour under the lip. Saw Scott Barnes do that. And then you kind of cut the cheek with your mid-tone again. Pretty much everything I do, you go back and forth. Whatever it feels like it needs. Like you blend it a little too much, add a little more depth. And then you add too much depth and you blend it out, add a little more light, back and forth, back and forth. I also do a little chin highlight. I like a little on the chin because I feel like if you're too bright just in the center, of the forehead and under the eyes, I think it looks funny. But if you're too bright on the chin, that looks even worse. So it's a balance. Now I'm drawing in my eyebrows. I do those when everything's wet. I use the same two colors. I'm trying to see if they're even. I use the same two colors that I use for my contour. More of the contour too. And then I just kind of soften the start of them. And then this is the MAC Full Coverage in white again. I also will use the Kevyn & Quan Sensual Skin Enhancer in SX01 as well sometimes. I usually mix that with, but that's also extremely thick. But we are doing drag. And so then I'm taking the MAC Full Coverage in the white that really by this time was like almost liquidy because it had really warmed up on my hand. So I'm cleaning up under the brows with that. And everything, like I said, is basically back and forth. So you see, you put the light in, put the dark in, and you put it back, you balance back and forth, same thing. And I always, before I'm ever going to powder, refresh the under eye a little bit, add a little more brightness, and then take that onto the lid, and then powder that right away. Because my eyes are hooded and they tend to crease, I always do it that way. So now we're powdering everything, using the Coty Airspun in translucent extra coverage, and dust off the excess. And so see now once you've powdered, you can barely see a difference between those colors. So then you kind of reinforce some of those darker tones. So this is a bronzer. This is a Laura Geller bronzer in light. It's a baked bronzer. And it's just barely there, just gives a little something, a little transition. And then this is the Lorac Pro Contour. Absolutely love this palette. I use light and medium. And we just go to town on the cheeks. And then the forehead and then the jaw. I don't use this one for the nose though. Like I said, I keep the nose highlight a little bit lighter. I think because it is the center of your face. And if anyone sees you from profile, it's so, I don't want the nose to look like ruddy or dirty. Trying to create that shadow, girl. Okay, so now we are popping a little bit of that Coty powder just on a couple of those spots that I want to stay. And then this is the Kevyn & Quan Sculpting Powder in light. I'm going to do the nose, and I do use a credit card. It just gets a nice straight line. I don't like credit card cheeks or anywhere else on the face, but. And then just putting a little powder on the sides of my nose before we start with eyes. This is the Sugar Pill and Morphe. Took the green from both of those, blended them together. We're starting on like the crease area. It's kind of like I'm in between my real crease and slightly higher. Because my eyes are hooded, you know, when your eyes are closed, you see a lot more happening, and then you like look at someone straight on, you don't see as much. So it's good to kind of get it at more than one angle. And we are just reinforcing the color. Okay, so blend, blend, blend. And I just go back and forth between the same few shades. It's the two, it's kind of like the mid-tone. I'm starting with the mid-tone on the eye, not the lightest. And then I took the yellow from the Maddie Ziegler Morphe palette to start blending out the green. And then the white from Sugar Pill, which is the best white eyeshadow I've ever used in my life. And putting that right under the brow. And I have a brush that only does this, does nothing else. And then I'm going in, this is the Morphe Artistry palette, I want to say. And this is the dark, it's like a foresty kind of green. And I'm going for like a spotlight eye, or like a halo eye. So I'm going to leave the center bare until I put like a lighter color there. So I'm just sort of doing a smoky, it's like doing a smoky eye, but then you're leaving the middle bare. And I could have used concealer and cut it afterwards. And I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. I just kind of left it bare. And so I'm going in with a pencil brush. This is a little tiny MAC pencil brush. It's a really good pencil brush though. And kind of just creating that little open space in the center. Back and forth. I have to keep checking. If you keep seeing me look, it's because the camera doesn't always recognize the face, and then the lighting gets wild. So that's why I keep looking and looking. And now I'm using a blending brush. I believe it's not a 217. I know it's a MAC brush. It's not a 217, but it's a fluffy blending brush. And I'm just softening that darkest color into the middle color. I'm really kind of making the inner corner blown out. Now we're starting with the under eye with the darkest color, connecting to the top. And those are a couple Urban Decay shadows. That was like make your own palette. So I have like a shimmery green and then like a satiny green in there. I will list everything in the description box below. It's an older palette because I made it myself. And this is Sugar Pill. This that broke I was putting on. I'll put it on again later. And then the Electric palette. I'm using the two greens and they're the lightest. The darker of the two, then the more yellow. Urban Decay Electric palette is amazing. I've had it for so many years, but I use it all the time. And so I'm just putting those kind of shimmery shades on with my finger, and that's the same Sugar Pill one again. It's a green, and I'm putting that on top. And then I'm using a little bit of a super dried up Urban Decay Heavy Metal liner. And it's the more green of the two. And just putting that on the lid for a little. I didn't feel like using full glitter, so I just wanted a little bit. Blending the under eye a little bit. And there's a highlight color in that Make Your Own palette, but it didn't end up doing really what I wanted, so I ended up going to the Anastasia Moonchild palette. It has the green, I think it's called Lucky Clover, for the inner corner highlight on the bottom. So just blend that in. And then we're doing liquid liner. And this is a L'Oreal Carbon Black liquid liner. And I'm not doing a wing. I'm going for more like a smoky. And I didn't feel like doing a wing, so I'm really just putting a black line so that the lashes have something to blend with. I didn't spend too while doing that. And then once I had that on, I'm just reinforcing the dark green again. Sometimes after a while, it just feels like it fades a little bit. So you do the darkest, and then you have to go ahead and do the middle again. So it's all the same couple colors that I've been using this whole time. And we have some lash curling happening. And the mascara. I use the L'Oreal Voluminous and Carbon Black. That's my favorite. Do it on the top. And then do it on the bottom. I probably let it dry and then did another layer. And then boom, back with lashes. Did those off camera. Those are custom lashes that I made myself. So 301 chopped up onto another lash. And then I'm putting black in my waterline. It's a Maybelline black liner. Doing like a very black lash line. And then just marrying the lashes, mine and the false lashes together. And then dusting away the powder that I had under my eyes. And then this is Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in, I think, taupe. I'm just filling it in the edges in the middle of my brows. It's a really nice, tiny brow pencil. And then now I use two different sort of liquid brow ink pens to draw some hairs on. This one's light, it just gives a little something. It's a blonde. And then I have a darker, more brown that I can draw actual little hairs. And then these are two MAC blushes. and putting those on first. I think it's Peaches and Melba. And a Morphe blush palette. I mixed like 3 of them, like the pink, the red, and like a deeper. I usually do a little bit deeper to the back. Oh, and this is my favorite brush. This is Milani Luminoso Baked Blush. And I'm using a tiny little brush, and I kind of do it in the front, like on the apple, so that that part kind of protrudes a little bit more. This is a little bit of a highlight. This is the Master Chrome in Rose Quartz, I think, from Maybelline. And then I layer a couple highlighters. So this is an old school product. This is a MAC illuminating powder. I think, I cannot remember the name. It's very old. I'm not even sure if they make it anymore. I used to use it on brides a lot when I did bridal makeup. It just looks really nice. It's very thin. It doesn't look chunky. It just makes the skin look alive. And then, oh, this is the Jaclyn Hill highlight. It's amazing. I want the lightest shade. It's not the lightest one. Okay, and then sometimes after highlight you need to reinforce your blush because maybe went a little wild. And here we have for the lips. I'm using a NYX lip liner in red and then a MAC Cherry liner. It's one of the best red lip liners, the MAC Cherry. And this is the Too Faced Melted Liquid Lipstick in Lady Balls. It's a really nice red. Very like Christmassy red. And then we have to go back and fix. And then I went too far, so then I had to put foundation and powder that. It's a little lip gloss. This is a Rihanna glittery from her collection with MAC. And then I'm gonna put some glitter over that. It's a Lit Cosmetics red glitter. And I put it on with my finger first, and then I use a little brush after. And then a little setting spray. I don't know why I covered my mouth, but I did. And then I put, while my face is still wet, I put more highlight on. And that's it.
Ho, ho, ho. Okay. And this is the final look. Now I'm ready to start my OnlyFans. Jingle balls. Thank you so much for watching my video. This is my Mrs. Claus OnlyFans, leaving Mr. Claus and becoming a divorcee fantasy. And I would love it if you would like and subscribe and become part of the family. Let's be friends. That would be amazing. Happy holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate. Thank you so much for watching my video. Merry Christmas. I'm Britney Lynn. Please watch my next video. Coronavirus is still a thing, so be careful whose stocking's getting stuffed. Happy holidays. Earrings are a Christmas tree. Do yourself a favor this holiday season. Put some jingle balls on your ears. This is Mrs. Claus here to say, hopefully, next year will be better than this one, because this one was really bad. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next video.